My stepdaughter and her father banned me from her graduation photo, saying I'd ruin the family vibe. So I deleted the scholarship payments that built it. The dean called first. My stepdaughter and her father excluded me from her graduation photo, saying I'd ruin the family vibe. So I stopped the tuition payments that built her future. The university called me first. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reddit Visuals. I used to believe hard work and consistency could make any blended family work, that if you showed up and treated your stepchild like your own, you'd eventually earn your place. But some people are ruthless when the spotlight's on them, especially when they think they've outgrown the person who made it possible for them to stand there. I'm 48, an engineer, remarried for 6 years to Clara. When I met her, she had a daughter named Sophie, who was 14, sharp, sarcastic, distant in that teenage way. I figured she'd warm up if I was consistent. I never tried to replace her dad, but I showed up. Every recital, every parent-teacher conference, every late-night panic about college applications. When her father was behind on child support, I quietly covered the gap. I paid half her private school tuition for 3 years. I didn't mind. That's what family does. Sophie's biological father, Mark, lived 2 states away. He'd visit twice a year with a tan, new car, and vague stories about work keeping him busy. Clara would say, "It's important Sophie has both of you." I agreed. I just didn't realize both didn't mean equal. When Sophie turned 17, she got accepted to her dream university, a top-tier school with tuition that made my eyes water. She was ecstatic. I was proud. Here's what she didn't know. I'd been making direct tuition payments to the university since her acceptance. $22,000 per semester, paid from an account I'd been building since she was 15. The university listed me as an authorized payer on her account, which meant I could make payments, but my name didn't appear on her financial aid summary. Clara asked me to keep it quiet. "Let's not confuse things with Mark," she said. I agreed. It wasn't about credit. A few weeks before graduation, Mark reappeared. Suddenly, he wanted to be involved, calling it a new chapter. He stayed in our guest room for a week, brought Sophie a necklace engraved with Class of 2025, and talked about helping with move-in day. I stayed polite and watched. Graduation day was supposed to be perfect. I ironed my shirt, grabbed my camera, and drove with Clara to the ceremony. Sophie texted the group chat, "Meet by the auditorium at 10. I'd even bought her a bracelet with her initials and graduation date engraved. I planned to give it to her after the ceremony. When we arrived, I saw them, Sophie in her cap and gown, standing with Mark and his side of the family, all smiles and poses. I waved. She waved back weakly. When I walked over, her friend stepped in front of me. "Oh, they're doing immediate family photos right now." Immediate family. I stepped back, figuring I'd wait my turn. But then I heard Sophie's voice, clear as day. "Mom, can you tell him to wait? He's kind of ruining the family vibe." The words hit like a punch. Family vibe. Clara shot me this helpless look, half apology, half warning. I turned and walked to the bleachers before my face could show what I felt. I stood there for over an hour while they laughed and posed. When it was finally over, Sophie bounced over all smiles and handed me her phone. "Hey, can you take a few pictures for us?" The hands that had been paying her tuition were now just a camera stand. I took the photos. I handed back her phone with a smile. Then I said, "Congratulations, Sophie. I'm proud of you." She nodded absently and walked away. That night, I sat in my office staring at the university payment portal. The fall semester payment, $22,000, was scheduled to process in 10 days. I stared at that number for a long time, thinking about her words, ruining the family vibe. I clicked the payment cancellation button. Then I sent a formal email to the bursar's office withdrawing my authorization as a payer on her account. 3 days later, my phone rang. The university's financial services director. "Mr. Daniels, I'm calling to confirm your withdrawal as authorized payer for Sophie Brennan's account. Our records show you've been covering tuition since her enrollment. Are you certain about this change?" I was calm. "Yes, I'm certain. I need to inform you that without your payments, her account will show an outstanding balance. She'll need to arrange alternative funding before the semester starts, or she won't be able to register for classes. I understand, I said. May I ask why you're withdrawing? I paused. The family wants to handle things internally now. There was silence on the other end. I see. We'll send notification to the student within 24 hours. The next morning, Clara came into my office, pale. Did you cancel Sophie's tuition payments? I withdrew my authorization, I said. Yes. She stared at me like I was a stranger. She's counting on that money. You can't just, quote, she can count on her family vibe, I said. Maybe Mark will step up. She left without another word. That evening, my phone buzzed. Sophie. Her text. The university called. They said my tuition payment was canceled. They said the authorized payer withdrew. That was you, wasn't it? I typed and deleted 3 responses before settling on, I thought I wasn't part of the family. Her response came fast. You're being cruel. I stared at that word. Cruel. I thought about the private school tuition I'd covered when Mark's checks bounced, the college fund I'd built quietly, the thousands of hours I'd worked overtime so she wouldn't struggle like I did. I thought about that phrase, ruining the family vibe, and realized I'd been financing my own erasure. Over the next week, the house was silent. Clara barely spoke to me. I overheard her on the phone with Sophie, crying, defending me, then stopping mid-sentence. 2 weeks later, Sophie moved in with Mark temporarily while they figured things out. A month passed. Then my phone rang. The financial services director again. Mr. Daniels, I thought you should know. Sophie submitted an emergency financial aid appeal. Her father pledged to make a payment, but his check was returned for insufficient funds. She's currently unable to register for fall classes. I thanked him and hung up. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not regret. Just the quiet certainty that I'd made the right call. 2 months into this standoff, something shifted. Clara came into my office one evening and sat down without saying anything. Finally, she spoke. I talked to Sophie today. Really talked. She admitted what she said at graduation. She said she was embarrassed because Mark made such a big show of being there, and she wanted the photos to look complete. She didn't think about what it would do to you. Okay, I said. She wants to apologize. She wrote you a letter. I don't need a letter. Clara's voice cracked. She called you Dad when we were on the phone. She's called you that for 2 years. Did you know that? When you're not around, that's what she calls you. Dad fixed my car. Dad helped me with my essay. But she was too scared to say it to your face because she thought it would hurt Mark's feelings. That hit differently than I expected. I didn't respond. A week later, an envelope appeared on my desk. Inside was a handwritten letter from Sophie. No excuses. Just this, I messed up. I knew what I said hurt you, and I said it anyway because I was trying to protect someone who's never protected me. You've been there for everything that mattered, and I erased you from the one moment you deserved to be seen. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to know I'm sorry, and that I finally understand what showing up actually means. I read it twice. Then I put it in my desk drawer. That weekend, I called the university. I asked if Sophie's account was still open. They said yes, but she'd deferred enrollment due to lack of funding. I asked what it would take to reinstate her. They said a payment and a letter from the authorized payer confirming continuation. I didn't make the payment immediately. Instead, I called Sophie. We need to talk. In person. She came over the next day, quiet and smaller than I remembered. We sat in the living room. I didn't make it easy for her. I need you to understand something, I said. I didn't pull that funding to punish you. I did it because you made it clear I wasn't family. And if I'm not family, I'm not responsible for family expenses. Do you understand that? She nodded, eyes red. I've been taking care of you for 6 years. Not because I had to. Because I wanted to. But you don't get to erase me when it's convenient and keep me around when you need something. That's not how respect works. I know, she whispered. I know that now. I let the silence sit for a moment. Then I said, I'm going to reinstate the payments. Not because you apologized. because I made a commitment to your future, and I keep my commitments. But here's the deal. You're going to contribute. You're getting a part-time job on campus. You're going to pay for your own books and part of your meal plan. And you're going to send me your grades every semester. Not because I don't trust you, because I want you to value what you're getting. She nodded, tears streaming. Thank you. I'll do all of it. I promise. I made the call to the university that afternoon, reinstated my authorization, paid the fall semester in full. When the payment processed, I got a confirmation email. I forwarded it to Sophie with one line, "Don't waste this." She started school 3 weeks later. True to her word, she got a job at the campus library. She sent me photos of her schedule, her paychecks, even her midterm grades. And one day, a package arrived. Inside was a framed photo, her graduation day. But this one was different. It was a candid shot someone had taken of all of us together before the formal photos. Me, Clara, Sophie, even Mark. We're all standing there, and for once, I'm not cut out. On the back, she'd written, "The real family photo. The one that matters." I put it on my desk, not because it fixed everything, but because it reminded me why I showed up in the first place. So here's my question. Was I wrong to pull the funding when she excluded me? Should I have kept paying no matter what? Or did she need to learn that respect isn't optional? What would you have done if you were erased from the picture you paid to create? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know how you see this. And if this story made you think, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps the channel grow and keeps these real stories coming. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.